If it's Tuesday, that means the Apex Energy Cup Series races tonight from the Slingshot Racing League. Welcome, everybody. I am Ellis Thomas, joined in the booth tonight by Chris Smith. Tonight, we're bringing you live racing action in the ARCA cars from Thunder Valley, Bristol Motor Speedway for the Evan Pienta Designs Bristol Night Race. This historic facility, half a mile in length, forged amid the scenic mountains of Northeast Tennessee, earned its reputation for producing incredible finishes during its most storied event, America's Night Race. Opening in 1961, Bristol held its first night race in 1978. With 24 to 28 degrees of banking, these drivers are going to be facing some high speeds as they go around the four corners with lots of opportunities to make mistakes. Sometimes, those cars in the wall are not the result of a mistake, however, as was in the case in 1995 when Terry Labonte careened across the finish in first place despite Dale Earnhardt giving it his best effort to send Labonte packing with the chrome horn. Chris, we often refer to Bristol as the last great Coliseum. These drivers are going to have to put on their gladiator helmets tonight for 250 laps if they want to make it to victory lane at the end. We mentioned a couple of moments ago the often used bump and run tactic, which has been less prevalent in recent years, but these older ARCA cars drive a little bit different than the next-gen cars. Can we expect to see anyone sent up out of the groove tonight? What can we look forward to seeing from these drivers out there at Bristol tonight, Chris?
I think it's a very good possibility you could see drivers a little bit angry with each other tonight. In my limited practice in this car yesterday, to try to get a little bit of an idea of what these guys are going to be experiencing, it seemed like the top was not as advantageous in this car as it was in other cars, like the truck or the next-gen car. So you might see a lot of guys that are wanting to hunt the bottom. I think that you can still make the top work, especially if as it rubbers in. But it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out throughout the race tonight. As you mentioned in the intro, Ellis, in 1995, Dale Earnhardt tried that bump and run on Terry Labonte unsuccessfully. 1999, he was successful. Who knows how it plays out here at the Last Great Coliseum? Should be for a very interesting and entertaining night for the Slingshot Racing League.
Absolutely, and as you look at that pre-race analysis right now on the screen, we're going 250 laps around this track. And we'll talk about the challenges of that here shortly, but it is a longer race. It's going to be one of the longer races for these drivers this season. We do have 4 tire sets available for drivers to take tonight. Whether they take all 4 or use all 4, remains to be seen. We'll look at how tire wear goes throughout the rest of the race. And the fuel window, as we mentioned, is around 150 laps, and that's going to mean if this race were to go green, and it's likely not, only one pit stop would be required. So we'll see how that pans out, but I would venture to say we're probably going to have some cautions tonight if my gut tells me correctly. So before we tackle the race and before we see what actually happens and transpires tonight, we are going to go to a pre-race tradition with the national anthem before we get these cars gridded up with qualifying. All right, we are back live from Bristol for Slingshot Racing, presenting the Apex Energy Cup Series tonight. Uh, Chris, it's going to be an interesting night of racing. What kind of what's going to be the experience of drivers driving around this track as we hit qualifying right now? What's the line drivers are going to be running, and is it going to be a difference between qualifying and where they're running in the race?
Possibly. I think that you'll see most everybody try to stick to the bottom here for qualifying. I think that you'll see a lot of guys maybe try to venture up off the bottom once the race starts. You might see a lot of guys that are in tire conservation mode tonight that just stick it on the bottom and don't ever try to come off the bottom unless maybe you're trying to make a pass on somebody. I think the tire wear is going to be a huge story tonight. There's an extra set of tires because of how much of a cheese grater this track is on tires. So it's going to be interesting to see how this line plays out. But I suspect that you'll see most everybody probably try to run the bottom here.
And what do you think the keys to success tonight for, if these drivers are to make it through these 250 laps and get to victory lane, what is that going to take in your mind?
Well, you got to keep that. Those emotions in check. All right, you got to try to manage your anger because this can be a very frustrating place. Everything happens really fast here, and everything happens in the blink of an eye. And so you're going to want to make sure that you keep those emotions in check. That you try to manage that extra set of tires, hold on to that extra set in case there's a late race caution, and use it to your advantage at that point. When you're navigating around lap traffic, just be patient with them. Luckily, there's two pretty fast lanes around here. You can run the bottom or you could run up high. So you can make your way around them if you need to. So, probably one of the big things that we're going to talk about here in just a second is this is a crown jewel race. This is a very big race, and there's a little bit more on the line tonight.
Yeah, so with our Crown Jewel program that was made possible by our community, we're doing 4 races where we are giving away $25 to the winner of each one of those races. So not only are you getting bragging rights and points and a little sticker on your car, but you're also getting a nice little chunk of change to finish first tonight. A lot of drivers are going to go after that. I have a feeling that's what has maybe boosted up a couple our numbers tonight, giving us a couple extra drivers in the field who are going to take a crack at earning that $25. But if they are going to earn it, they are going to have to work hard tonight. And speaking of hard, this is a concrete surface. This is the first and one of, I think, maybe only 2 tracks we race at all season where we will be driving on concrete. Is there a difference between concrete and asphalt in terms of grip and how that car feels going around that track?
Oh yeah, I mean it's just a lot bumpier, and the way that the concrete surfaces take rubber, it's a huge difference from a very clean racetrack, a dusty track compared to a track that has been rubbered in. It just seems like, number one, the tires wear a whole lot more on the concrete that has not been rubbered in versus some of the other tracks that you go to, some of the other asphalt tracks. So that's a very key difference that you'll see tonight versus some other places that we go to.
Yeah, some of those guys who struggle a little bit might find themselves in the back very quickly. And this is a half-mile track. Laps go by very quickly. So we're going to have some lap traffic to deal with. That's something we've kept an eye on in Slingshot for a while over the course of the multiple series we've run. So it'll be interesting to see how early these cars start getting lapped and how they interact with the leader and whether or not they're aggressive in maintaining their position on the lead lap. Or maybe we even see worse. Maybe some lap cars get in the way tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But right now, drivers are finishing up the qualifying session. We are going to take a look here in just a minute at the starting grid to let you know where your favorite Slingshot driver is going to be starting tonight. But before we get there, let's take a quick look at the point standings to see how these guys are stacking up so far this season. You can see right now, I'm looking at our it's like our numbers are a little bit messed up. But you can see Randy Bechtel is the point leader. He came out of Daytona with that surprise win, on the final laps of the race. Rye Jones is sitting in second. Tony Hilbrun's in third. Scott Sabzak in fourth. Aaron Smith, who's gotten himself a win this season, sitting fifth. Johnny Rapp in sixth. Justin Gann, our surprise winner from last week, is sitting in eighth. Austin Greer in ninth, and Chris Pierce in 10th. You can look at the rest of the field there, but we are going to go ahead and get to the starting grid because these are going to be some pretty short pace laps. So let's pull up that starting grid and see where your favorite driver is starting tonight. So starting first, we've got Scott Sobczak. This is his 4th pole of the season, Chris. Crazy. Johnny Rapp starting second, the 52. Aaron Smith starting 3rd in the 1 car. Andrew McGonigal starting 4th on the outside of row 2 in that 94. Brady Powers with another top 5 qualifying effort starting 5th tonight. Patrick Colby starting 6th. On the inside of the 4th row, Tony Hilbrun's in that 92 lime green car tonight, mixing it up for the night race. Chris Blassie to his outside in 8th place. And then Eric McMillan, slingshot newcomer, is going to be starting in 9th. Justin Gann, last week's winner, as we mentioned, is going to be starting 10th. Lee Campbell in that 14 Sonic the Hedgehog car. See how fast he's going to go tonight, starting in the 11th spot. Rye Jones is going to be to his outside in 12th. Chris Pierce, new paint scheme tonight. He's got that night version of that Pierce graphics car starting in 13th. Austin Greer is going to be starting his outside in 14th. Monty Sprague starting in the number 3 car 15th. Rhett Tucker in that 99. He's going to be looking to climb his way through the field early tonight. And we know he's an aggressive driver, so he's going to be exciting to watch, I'd imagine, starting in 16th. Evan Pienta in 17th. Chase Berry in 18th. And Randy Bechtel is going to be starting in 19th position, Chris.
Yeah, a field of heavy hitters tonight, and a lot of really good guys that are deciding they're going to start in the back and try to take it easy. And, you know, if you're Randy Bechtel, why not? This season's gone really well for you so far, and it's probably not a bad strategy as the cars roll out here on the pace laps, and we take a look at tonight's race analysis. 150 laps expected fuel window tonight. There are 3 sets of tires available in the pits to these guys. So we'll be interested to see like when they take them and what they decide to do with them. Moderate tire degradation expected right there. It really just kind of depends on, you know, the course of the race and how things go, how that will, you know, transpire throughout the evening. I'll be really curious to see what the tire wear and the times look like as the race goes on.
Absolutely, and these drivers are got to be pulling these belts tight. They are gearing up for what's going to be an intense first couple of laps as they head into turn 3, and the pace car is going to be pulling off in just a moment. And Scott Sobczak, for the 4th time, is going to be leading these drivers to the green flag. Pace car peels off, and we are green in the Evan Pienta Designs night race at Bristol from Slingshot Racing. Sobczak down into 1 on the inside. Looks like we might already have a car out of the groove. Everyone gathers it back up. Sobczak is on his own on the inside in 1st. Aaron Smith is going to go under Johnny Rapp for 2nd. As drivers kind of single file, at least towards the back of the field, but we've got some action into turn, sorry, losing my cameras, into turn 3 right now. Drivers side by side. Battle for 3rd going on between Brady Powers, who is trying to look to the inside of Johnny Rapp, with Tony Hilbrun's right behind him, and we'll see if Brady is able to cut Johnny a little bit of a break here. As we see Sobczak, I don't know if that was intentional, him going to the outside or not, but maybe trying a different line here than these other guys. He has already moved up to the top, Chris, as drivers kind of stretch out single file 1st through 6th. It looks like we got a slightly slow car, Chris Blassie, who's losing a little bit of ground. Andrew McGonigal right in front of him is also looking like he might be struggling a little bit. But I want to talk briefly with you, Chris, about, sorry, I talked right when we switched cameras, but I want to talk about whether or not you think Scott Sobczak is going up to that top groove a little bit early maybe in this run, and what impact that might have on his car.
Well, you know, he's out to a pretty good lead right here, and it might not be a bad idea to go out there and just see what the car feels like. You know, there's going to be all kinds of opportunities if we do get cautions to restart, and you might find yourself restarting on the top. And so Scott might be wanting to see what his car feels like on fresh tires and race conditions up there. And as we got a heck of a battle going on back here.
And I think this is a result of that 94 car who just cut across the nose of the 25.
Oh, man.
Clogging up the field.
Man, Chris Pierce cut Andrew a break right there. That was really, really close going into turn 1.
Yeah, that was an aggressive move, and right now that 94 is just looking like he's having trouble kind of finding, what lane's going to work best for him. I've noticed he's been a little bit loose early on the run, but you can see with him on the outside now, a lot of cars are moving by, and what appeared to be kind of a clogged pipe, so to speak, is looks like it's clearing out as we speak as these guys get back single file. And what just a couple of laps ago was a hornet's nest. I'm a little nervous watching these guys. I know what it's like to drive at Bristol, as you do too, and right now these guys are definitely white knuckling. These cars are not glued down to the track. These cars are wiggling around. You can see it in these guys as we look at Austin Greer right now running that top line. On the outside of Rhett Tucker, he gets that momentum off the corner headed down into 3. He's going to make a move low on that 15 car, and he's going to see if he can also get by that 94 of McGronigal at the same time. But Blassie is to his inside, and there's a lot going out on the track right now as we ride on board with the 45 car, who looks like he might be struggling just a little bit.
Yeah, it's just so easy to find yourself bottled up behind somebody if you feel like you're a little bit faster than somebody, but maybe you make the wrong move in the lane that you decide to run, it can cost you a lot of spots here very, very quickly. And one thing that we haven't talked a lot about is, a lot of these guys who started near the back, for instance, Chase Berry currently riding shotgun on the field. He's currently 10 seconds behind our leader, Scott Sobczak. The leader comes quick here.
Yeah, and that is going to happen very soon. At this point, looks like Barry is on the backstretch, and Sobczak is at this point coming onto the backstretch. So they're within about a straightaway of lap cars at this point. And it's Chase Berry, so right now he might just be riding and taking it easy with his teammate Randy Bechtel back there. And as we say that, I'm seeing them engaged in a battle right now with Eric McMillan in the 11 and Monty Sprague in the 3. But up front, it remains what it was about 10 laps ago. We've got Scott Sobczak, who started on the pole, with Aaron Smith in second right now, Brady Powers in third, Tony Hilbrun's in fourth, and Patrick Colby with a solid run right now going in fifth position. Hey, if you're watching in the Twitch right now, we appreciate y'all, our viewers, and we're curious, who do you want to win this race? Who do you want to win it? Who do you think's going to win it? Let us know in the chat right now. Gran Torino Sport asks, how long does it take for them to make a lap? Right now, we're in the 15-second mark. The fastest lap of the race, Gran Torino, is a 14.8 by Scott Sobczak. No surprise there, as we've got single file action. Brady Powers with a really good run tonight, sitting in third, seeing if he can hold off Tony Hilbrun's and Patrick Colby, both teammates, in the fourth and fifth slot right now. But right now it's a kind of a breakaway race with the top two running with each other, followed by that pack of 3 right behind them. And right now I'm just looking through the field, and everyone looks like they're playing pretty nicely, but there is a battle going on for 10th spot between Andrew McGronigal in the 94 and his teammate Rhett Tucker in the 99. It looks like McGronigal is going to let Tucker by, but not going to be so kind to Austin Greer. It doesn't look like, as Austin Greer dips his nose at the inside and won't give McGronigal much of a choice. But you can see, Chris, that outside line provides some momentum off the corners, and it does make it a little bit difficult to pass. As you can see right now, this battle going on between the 99, the 45, and the 94. And you can see what the impact that it's having on cars behind him, as it allows Justin Gann and Chris Blassie to draw right up to the back of those cars. And you just wonder at this point early in the race, is it worth putting up that much of a fight and costing yourself and others ground when you've got lap cars not that far behind at this point? The leaders are about straight away behind this pack.
Yeah, we got some contact there. It looks like the 15 got in the back of the 30.
And that is going to bring out our first caution of the night. Justin Gann being the early victim. We'll take a look at the replay here and see what happened. It did involve Blassie.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you lose a lap here when something like this happens. We'll go back and we'll take a look at it. There's a 30 of Gann on the bottom, and of course, it's going to switch views right when we don't need it to.
So it looks like Gann might have slid up just enough in front of Blassie where just that fraction of a, lifting the throttle maybe a little bit was enough to allow the 15 to get into the back of the 30. So nothing nothing too intentional here or anything like
No.
that. This is just a product of hard racing early on. But with
Yep.
26 laps into this race, I am curious if we're going to have any takers on pit road, whether it's for tires or fuel. Um, Pace car has collected these guys.
Yeah, this looks like a situation to me where I think that Justin Gann was expecting Chris Blassie to be further out towards the wall.
I think you are right, rather than
Yeah.
that middle lane.
Yeah, Chris is he's a little bit off the wall here, and I think that Justin didn't come up too much. He left a car's width and then some, but yeah, I don't think he expected Blassie to be running as low as he ran on the straightaway there. That's nobody. I mean, that's nothing intentional. That's just a racing incident right there.
Absolutely, and I'm surprised that, these drivers are some of the best on the iRacing service, but we went 26 laps without a caution. Had a couple close calls, but I think I look at this as a product of some of these guys kind of just getting stacked up, some tough battles going on, and right now I'm not seeing any takers on pit road. It does not look like so. It looks like the likes of Sobzak in that 81 and Aaron Smith in that one, as well as the guys behind him, are going to be content just to ride right now on that same set of tires and that same kind of level of fuel, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm looking at. It looks like Rye Jones, Johnny Rapp, Monty Sprague, Chase Berry, and Justin Gann all came down pit road for service. I'm going to be curious to see, looking at the times on pit road here, if Rye Jones and Johnny Rapp took tires that time. They were stationary in the pits for a little bit longer, and so I'm gonna be curious.
14.7 seconds versus the 6 seconds by Sprague, Berry, and Gann. It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like those three guys that you mentioned might have come in for just fuel, but
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think that Rye Jones and Johnny Rapp might have come in for tires that time. So 2 drivers to watch on this next run here when we get the green flag.
Absolutely. As we cross over onto lap 30, these cars are lining up double file for this restart. And this is going to be the first shot that Aaron Smith has really had at running next to Scott Sobzak all night. We are 30 laps in. We'll see what he's going to do. We know Scott early on that last run looked like he wanted to be on the high side, but with this restart, he has chosen this inside line. So we'll see what's going to happen here, but this is going to bring all these drivers back together, and the only car lap down is Justin Gann, as we mentioned earlier, after that lap 25 incident. Pace car peels off, and Sobzak is going to restart. He gets a jump on the field. Great restart by Sobzak. He's not even going to give Aaron Smith a chance as they head down into one. Sobzak is in first, Smith is in second, but the battle is on for third between Tony Hilbrans and Brady Powers. They look like they're going to sort it out. We'll look further back in the field. We've got a hornet's nest right now for the 6th position between Chris Pierce, Rhett Tucker, and Evan Pienta, as we got some great side-by-side racing going on in the field right now.
Yeah, and Aaron Smith makes the pass on Scott Sobzak on that high side, and I'll be interested to see later in the race if when the leader does have lane choice, does he decide to take that top or take the bottom? I like being able to run the bottom as they get really close right there into turn 1. I really like being able to run the bottom. I think that the fast guys are going to be able to have good staying power down there, but I like being able to control that lane on the restart. I like restarting up on the top.
And Scott's not letting him go here. Scott giving it a fight, but he just cannot match that speed momentum that Aaron Smith is carrying off the corners. As now Sobzak's got a challenge from the 92 of Tony Hilbrans, who's had a really strong run this season so far. He's looking if he can put together a complete race to get himself a win tonight. And so far, we've seen him be really strong. He wants to get back down on that bottom line, headed down to the corner. And he might make a run on his teammate Aaron Smith here. He is going to. Tony Hilbrans is going to try to make a pass for the lead. We'll see if that number 1 challenges him. It looks like he's going to probably take it here as they go into the corner. Maybe. Smith might fight back. He might cut his teammate a little break as well, but he's going to open the door for Scott Sobzak in that 81 to see if he can get down there. And right now it is side by side for the lead between Aaron Smith and Tony Hilbrun's. Cars single file behind them, but it looks like Sobzak might try to follow the one on that top line right back by Tony Hilbrun's.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit of teamwork at play right there. Tony's trying to see if he can get a lap led, and Aaron sort of working with his teammate. But also, it could just be these guys are just racing hard, and they're going after it as Sobzak's going to peek to the outside of Aaron Smith. Aaron's going to leave him a lane up there. That's smart racing there. You know, no sense in trying to cut it this close, this early in the going here, as Sobzak's going to see if he can make the outside work. It's going to be interesting as these tires begin to wear out. When do we get to the point in the run where the tires start to really turn to junk? When that happens, it gets really, really, really hard to complete passes.
We got contact for fourth, and they save it. Looks like Brady Powers and Patrick Colby got together there, and man, we about had a track blocking incident there. That would have been more than just those two cars involved. Great job on both of those guys' part to get those cars corralled. Man, held my breath there for a second. Yeah,
and I'm really glad that you mentioned that. That's one thing I want to talk about. We didn't quite have the time to talk about it, but track blocking wrecks are something that can happen here. And they might look like ARCA braking incidents that aren't ARCA braking incidents at all. It's just so hard. Things happen so fast here that when somebody gets turned around, you're going so fast for just a small track. It's so hard to miss a wreck, and you can quickly see a 1 or 2 car incident turn into like a 7 or 8 car incident here.
Yeah, absolutely. We got really lucky there. Just for the viewers in the chat asking how many tire sets we get 4 total tire sets. That amounts to 3 changes tonight. We'll see if those drivers use it. I'm looking right now. The guy who might be able to need some tires at this point is Chris Pierce in that 25 car, because he is loose in front of Rhett Tucker and side by side with Evan Pienta in that 6th position. These guys are going at it with Pierce on the top lane in that white Pierce graphics car, trying to hold on to the spot with Rhett Tucker. Both these guys are tough racers, and we see that the 25 has that outside line, which is going to need a little bit of momentum, and it's going to make it tough on that inside car to pass. And right behind him, we see Tucker's teammate Andrew McGonigal with Austin Greer right behind him. And we've got some tough racing going on from about 6th on back to 13th or 14th or so. These guys are not wanting to be left too far back in the field, as these leaders are going to be approaching before we know it, as we look at Austin Greer in that 45.
Oh, the contact!
94 and the 45 and the 22, and it looks like Randy Bechtel, our Daytona winner, was also involved in that crash.
Yeah, that looks like a stack-up effect right there. I think that we'll go back and we'll take a look at it, but I think that Andrew McGonigal might have been trying to cut somebody a break there, and he might have gotten run over from behind, unfortunately.
Yep, I think the 25 was a little bit harder on the brakes than Andrew and the 94 anticipated, and it was just a stack-up event, and there was nowhere that any of these guys could have gone based on what I'm looking at.
Yeah, we'll go back here and we'll see if we can, we'll take a look at it right here. Watch the 25. He's a little bit harder. I think that Chris might be struggling a little bit with grip, and the 45 just couldn't get checked up in time, ran into the back of the 94. 22 of Brady Powers also involved. The 45 is going to come out of this with the most amount of damage, I think. I think everybody else is going to get away pretty well here.
And these cars are coming to pit road here. Our leaders are on pit road. Aaron Smith actually stays out. Looks like Scott Sobzak is on pit road. He's one of the only guys I see in the top 10 or so pitting, it looks like.
Yeah, this is an interesting decision. See if we can find Scott right here. We'll see how many people are actually... yeah, it looks like Sobzak and Brady Powers. Of course, Brady was involved in the incident. Evan Pienta also came down pit road.
Yep, and that's a 4-tire stop on that 81 car. So he's taking his tires early, it looks like. And now this is going to put Johnny Rapp in a really good position, as well as Rye Jones, because these guys already came and took tires, but that was, if I'm calculating correctly, about 25 laps ago. So they're going to be on a little bit older tires, but now they've got some track position. They're both going to be near the top 5 with Rye in 5th and Johnny Rapp in 8th place.
Yeah, and we see Chase Berry coming back down pit road, and you can just always assume there's going to be some shenanigans at hand on pit road when it comes to Chase Berry and the strategy that he pulls. Eric McMillan also coming down pit road. This caution is a lucky break for Justin Gann, who avoided all the trouble on track, and I think that he's going to come out of this whole deal back on the lead lap.
Yeah, so that kitty cat is she's purring right now. And hey, in the chat, first time chat, RTR Esports, we appreciate y'all watching. Thank you for the support. And at the same time, looks like Gran Torino really likes that 5 paint scheme of Chase Berry, that black and yellow and chrome. It's a good looking paint scheme. As drivers come around here, they are going to be lining up for the restart double file. Adjust my camera real quick just to get a little bit better view.
Yeah, and as you see the leader, Aaron Smith, Aaron liked restarting on the top last time. He was not the control car then. He is the control car this time. And he wants to be able to control that lane and control the lane underneath him as well. You put that guy at bay whenever you restart on the outside. There's a green flags back in the air.
Look at that jump. He pulled a Scott Sobczak there, and he left those guys in the dust. Aaron Smith to the lead. The battle is now for second between Tony Hilbrens and Rhett Tucker. They're going to quickly string out single file. Back in the pack, it looks like everyone is minding their manners, but Austin Greer, despite being involved in that last accident on the outside line, he's sticking to it. He's dancing with the one who brung him, so to speak, as Johnny Rapp fills in his mirror pretty quickly back there in about 5th or 6th place. Rye Jones on slightly older tires, sitting in 5th place. But back further in the field, we've definitely got some action going on. Chris Pierce is not going to let that last incident cause him any fear. He's running in 10th right now, under the 15 of Chris Blassie, with Scott Sobczak seeing if he can follow that 25 right through into turn number 1. A lot of side-by-side action.
Yeah, there is, and it's interesting to know. Like, it's hard to say like who is on what type of strategy. There's just a lot been happening in our first couple of cautions. Rye Jones and Johnny Rapp are in better shape than others as far as being on tires. The guys that are in front of them have not pit yet, even though their laps, they have a little bit more laps than some of the guys behind them. There's not a ton. So, as the 7's around.
Oh, yeah, Rye Jones.
See if we can go back.
Green flag is still out, though.
We'll go back and see if we
can. Tony Hilbrens just got the wall, by the way. Tony Hilbrens, sitting in 3rd position, got a chunk of the wall at the same time. It looks like that 9 of Patrick Colby just did not anticipate that 7, coming up in front of him, being a little bit slower.
Yeah, that's one of those. Hey, it's lap 61 in a 250 lap race. Patrick didn't cut him a break, and that's what happened. So, be interesting to see what happens from here on out. We talked about keeping your tempers in check, and we'll see if Rye keeps that temper in check.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened with the 92. I'm trying to take a look at it here. Tony Hilbrens, sitting in 2nd or 3rd, had an incident with the wall.
And Tony's coming in.
Yeah, Tony's got pretty severe damage.
He
it
does.
Looks like the 99 got to his inside, and that might have been a netcode issue. I'm looking at the replay on my own here. That might have very well been a netcode issue. Tony didn't leave the 99 a lot of room, and I don't really see if they made full contact, but that's going to be a night ender probably for Tony in terms of whether or not he's in contention for a top 5, top 10. He's going to lose a couple laps on this pit stop trying to get some of that damage repaired. So that's a bummer. That's a shame for him. But right now, just recapping where we are, kind of regrouping. Aaron Smith is in the lead. Rhett Tucker, after that incident with Tony Hilbrens, is going to be in 2nd. Johnny Rapp in 3rd. Chris Pierce in 4th with a great run going tonight, as well as Evan Pienta with a good run sitting in 5th. Watching that kitty cat coin car go around right now. Justin Gann got his lap back, and he is now in 15th. So we join the battle for, looks like, find Chris on the map, 3rd position between Chris Pierce and Johnny Rapp. This is a pretty good battle. But it looks like Chris is going to get the better of Johnny. As you can see, Tony Hilbrens come back onto the track. See, man, that right side of that car is pancaked.
Yeah, and
That's
it
hard
looked
to
like
look at.
the right front was towed a little bit, so it's probably not driving all that great right now. It might be he might be sitting there with a little bit of a steering wheel offset that he's struggling with. So that makes for a long night around a really difficult track.
Yeah, that's better man than I am for running around with that damage. Hey, in the chat, first time chatter, Maddox19 says go Lee Campbell. So we'll see if he can take that Sonic the Hedgehog car up to the front and collect some gold coins tonight in this crown jewel event. You like what I did there? You see that?
Yeah, I like what you did there. Yeah. He's currently running 14th, so keeping a nose clean, looking pretty good up there as we got a battle going on for the third spot up here.
Yeah, and Rhett Tucker, I don't know if he got moved out of the way by Evan or he just gave up that ground.
So a lot of guys right here. There's a lot of guys right here on a lot fresher tires than Rhett. Rhett has, along with Aaron Smith and a couple of these other guys, is on the same set of tires that he started the race on. As Aaron Smith gets passed for the lead by Chris Pierce. Chris Pierce has gotten through this traffic better than anybody else.
Absolutely, and he is on fresher tires, definitely fresher tires than Aaron, but he, like you said, Chris, he's moved through the traffic, and you can see Aaron, that tire wear is showing right now as he is on the same set of tires that he started the race on. I'm looking at my numbers. There's only a few guys out here who are in that situation. Most of the guys, it's about 50-50, I should say, in the top 10 right now who are on new tires and those who are running on their originals. But you can see Chris Pierce is pulling away. Evan Pienta is slowly growing smaller in that 25's rear view mirror. We're so far really the best run we've seen Chris in that 25 car put together this season. He's no slouch, but he's got some speed tonight. I think we need to keep an eye on him as we move forward onto lap 76 of 250. This race is going fast. We've only had 2 cautions. They've been pretty short cautions, and for the most part, these guys are minding their P's and Q's out there, but they are not cutting each other any breaks right now.
No, they're
not.
Just
looking. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, no, they're not. And, if you're Aaron Smith right now and Rhett Tucker and Randy Bechtel and all these guys that have not pit, you've been doing a pretty good job of saving your tires. They're still turning some pretty good lap times considering how old their tires are. But what you really don't want, your worst nightmare, is for this thing to go green for a long time. If it goes green for a long time, the higher the risk of getting put a lap down is. Right now, everybody's okay. Everybody's in pretty good shape. But, like I said, things happen really fast here.
Yeah, 15-second laps. And that reminds me of something I wanted to talk about, this idea of rhythm. Bristol is one of those rhythm tracks where you have to kind of get locked in. And how difficult is that to do? And how difficult is it to get back in the groove if you have something, like what happened to Tony Hilbrand's a little bit earlier? Even someone like Rye Jones, who looks like his car is okay and will probably have some speed the rest of the night. How difficult is it to get back locked in?
I mean, it's tough, and it's not just tough from, a lap time standpoint, but also doing what you got to do to save your tires. If something happens to you and you lose your cool for just a minute, you kind of get frustrated with somebody. Maybe you air it.
By the way.
Okay, yeah, let's go back to the lead. It's tough to gain that back as Evan Pienta is coming after Chris Pierce. I was curious to see Chris coming up through the field like this. Oh, as he almost tags the wall there off of 4.
Yeah.
I was curious to see if maybe Chris is gonna, burn that right front up just a little bit too quick, like I think that he did earlier in the race too. It's easy to do here, but we'll see if he can get behind these guys and maybe hold on to that right front a little bit.
Yeah, folks in the chat asking about tire wear, which lane is best for saving tires. My gut tells me the inside because you're not burning them up, running around those high speeds on the outside, which Chris Pierce just able to get back down to the inside. Am I right about that or am I wrong, Chris?
I mean, I think that you're right. I mean, if you're running the top, you have to run really hard up there to be fast, and it can be fast. Like you can get some really good straightaway speed. You can hold a guy off on the inside for a long time. But you are running in the throttle more, and you're running a lot harder there, whereas the guy on the inside doesn't have to run in the throttle as long. He can spend a little bit more time off throttle in the center of the corner. So I would think, my gut tells me that I want to be running the bottom here. I want to try to run the bottom as long as I can to try to save that right front for as long as I can.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. As we watch Evan Pienta in that 0-0 car work his way through some lap traffic. Right now, he's got Sobczak right behind him in second place, but they navigate their way through about 3, 4, 5 cars as the 0-0 pulls up on the back of the 9 of Patrick Colby, who we saw involved in an earlier incident. But Colby's going to get up out of the way, run as close to the wall as possible, and let these leaders kind of fight it out amongst themselves so Sobczak can get by. And Rye Jones also seeing if he can maybe stay close to being the first car lap down, just in case we get a caution. He's got some speed tonight. He's shown that, and he's going to be pretty, I'd imagine, aggressive in terms of doing what it takes to get that lap back.
Yeah, and this is the battle for the lucky dog right here if the caution comes out, and we know what happened last time the 9 and the 7 got close to each other. It seems like these guys are going to play nice together right here, giving each other plenty of room.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Don't speak so soon. But yeah, Colby is about as close to that wall as you can get, and Chris Pierce is going to take advantage of that. He ducks under here right now. As you can see, I would imagine that 25 is pretty desperate to get by these two guys, knowing that maybe they have a little bit of history earlier in the race. As Tony Hilbrun's also looks like he might have got a lot of that damage fixed. So we'll see. Tony right now is 4 laps down, but at Bristol, you know, those can be earned back. That's a realistic statement to make, I think. So we'll be keeping an eye on that number 92 car. Right now, we are on lap 94 of 250 laps in the Evan Pienta Designs night race from Bristol from Slingshot Racing League. Just a quick run through the field to check in on your favorite driver. And again, if you are in the chat right now, go ahead and say hello. Let us know which driver you're pulling for. Evan Pienta is our leader right now. Scott Sobczak is in second place. Chris Pierce having a really good run tonight in that third place. He has led a few laps tonight. Johnny Rapp, after some early tire strategy, is in fourth place, having a great run for himself tonight, seeing if he might be able to go out and chase a Cup Series win after he has won the last 2 Truck Series races on Wednesday nights. Brady Powers is still hanging tight in 5th place, with Rhett Tucker having a great run in 6th. Andrew McGronigle, after some early race trouble, is sitting in 7th. And then Aaron Smith, who will remind you is still out on those tires he started the race with nearly 100 laps in. And, you know, he's definitely paying the price for it right now. And that's one thing we talked about earlier, is he's going to want to see a caution pretty soon. As you can see him battling side by side with Justin Gann for the 8th spot. Gann, having a good recovery after an early spin to bring out the first caution, is sitting in 9th, now 8th. Eric McMillan, Slingshot Racing newcomer, is running in 10th place. Randy Bechtel having a kind of quiet night back there in 11th after being caught up in that incident earlier tonight. Monty Sprague having a good, consistent, quiet run in 12th. Rye Jones still trying to recover from that spin, battling side by side with his teammate Chase Berry in that 5, as both of those cars are a lap down. Patrick Colby also a lap down in 15th. Chris Blassie in 16th. Lee Campbell running in 17th. Austin Greer in 18th. And Tony Hilbrun's, after having some really devastating damage to that right side of the car earlier, is sitting in 19th, 4 laps down. I'm looking at the front of that 22, and I'm not sure if we talked about this or not, but that 22 of Brady Powers definitely had some front end damage, but that car seems to be running relatively well as he sits in 5th place right now. So it must have not hurt him too much, Chris.
Yeah, and he was one of the ones that came in to get tires on that last stop, and it's looking like that strategy and that decision to take tires was the correct one on that most recent stop, as a lot of the guys who did not take tires are either A, currently a lap down, or B, approaching becoming a lap down very quickly. This is the stuff that brings about nightmares at Bristol. I've got nightmares about this. This has happened to me before, as I'm sure it's happened to you too, Ellis. If you go, you have caution, but maybe somebody pits on that caution before you get a long green flag stretch, you can quickly find yourself 1, maybe even 2 laps down, just because of A, how fast the laps are here, and B, how much the tires give up here.
Absolutely. We've all been there, and it does give us nightmares. And right now, if we were to look back in ninth place, we'd see a guy who's having that same nightmare, Aaron Smith, who is battling side by side, or now just slightly in front of Eric McMillan in that 11. But Smith, this is unfamiliar territory for Smith, who hasn't been involved in a wreck tonight. But as we mentioned, that tire strategy has kind of got him mired back in ninth place as he fights to hold on to that and to stay in the top 10 with that 11 of Eric McMillan. Drawing close behind Randy Bechtel, trying to recover from an earlier incident, getting a little damage, I believe, in that second caution of the night. Comes up under Patrick Colby as they get by the lap car.
Randy and Aaron are kind of sitting in the same boat right now. They both are on the same strategy. They're both running very similar lap times. They're both just clinging on to the tail end of the lead lap. And they both desperately want a caution. A lot of the other guys that are on their strategy are already a lap down and are circulating the track at a much slower pace than both of them. We've seen these guys drive past the 9 and the 14 and the 15, who are all on that same strategy. But Randy and Aaron are, they've got pretty good pace right now. They got pretty strong pace as. It's like Randy might be trying to get around Aaron.
Yeah, and with the way Bristol goes, having that set of tires late on in the race could really be a critical strategy call that is going to make the difference between some of these guys winning the race and some of these guys finishing back in 11th or 12th place. And based on what we're seeing, it looks like Aaron and Randy are going to want to be the guys taking that set of tires towards the end of the race. If we move further back in the field, looking through the field, trying to find that battle I just had my eyes on. Maybe. Looks like guys have actually singled out for the most part, as we see Johnny Rapp looking like he's trying to get by the 3 of Monty Sprague. Chris, I think it might be a good time to see if we can check in with some of these guys running out front and see what they're experiencing. You think Evan might be up for a call from the booth?
Well, maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe
no,
not
sir.
Right now.
No, sir. As we do have a battle for the lead between that 00 of Evan Pienta and Scott Sobczak. And hey, by the way, hi to Monkey81, who is here for Scott Sobczak to see if he can claim his first win of the season. And Monkey, he is in a great position to do that right now as he battles Evan Pienta for the lead. So we'll keep an eye on this battle. See, Scott, it's going to draw right back up to the back bumper of Evan, as Evan doesn't have a great corner that time. We go on board and kind of see that 81's point of view as he dives into the corner right underneath that 00. He's got to be careful not to come back up on the track, though. Evan's going to have that advantage off the corner. So Scott tried it, but Evan countered with that outside line of that run that is just hard to fight off the corner. But Scott's going to come back up to the top of the track, and I think he's going to see if he can take a crack at it this way. You can see him draw up right back. Is he going to, yep, he's patient. And he's going to come up right to the outside. And he's going to, I think, lock into this outside line. He's going to get a run. Here's Evan going to close the door. He is not, as the 81 is on top of the 00 as they come out of the corner, past the line. We cross over to lap a 120, actually 120. And Sobczak looks like he's going to have the advantage making that outside line work. Now, something to keep in mind is Scott is using probably a little bit more tire here. So that is going to be something to be mindful of.
Oh, we got the wall there off of 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was close. And, it might have been just wall contact on our end, and maybe it wasn't on his end because things are really tight here at Bristol. One thing I was noticing there while we were watching the lead, battle for the lead, Evan was really, really smart about how he was making life difficult for Scott to get around him. Scott got to the inside of him, and Evan got down on his door and made it to where, Scott couldn't utilize the throttle on corner exit. And he was able to drive back by him. But then Scott also made a really good move and decided to switch it up and went to the top to complete the pass. These guys are on the same lap tires right here. And if I'm Scott, I'm feeling pretty good. I was just patient, and it looks like the pace is coming to him as our guy who dominated earlier, Aaron Smith, is going to go a lap down.
Yeah, that is not something I expected to see coming to the halfway point in this Bristol race. Was Aaron Smith fighting to stay on the lead lap. Usually when we see this 81 and this one car running together, it's been for first or second or certainly a position in the top 5. And it hasn't been that number 1 going a lap down. If you remember Aaron Smith making statement by choosing that number 1 car this season, normally runs the 70, but after winning the championship in the Apex Energy Cup Series last season, he decided to take that one and put it right on the side of his car.
Yeah,
but it does not have that speed tonight right now.
Yeah, the folks at home, you're probably looking at this and you're seeing Aaron Smith in the 70. Oh, as he tags the wall a little bit, scuffs up the right side of that the yellow Chevrolet, but you're probably seeing it as number 70. I'm not sure if it's a trading paints issue on my end or if or what it might be, but Aaron is listed as 1 in the sim, but he's got 70 on the side of his car tonight. As we see some guys that have decided to come to pit road and take their set of tires because they were bleeding too much time. You got the 7 of Rye Jones and the 9 of Patrick Colby out there turning some really, really fast laps.
Absolutely, and those guys are 3 laps down and 2 laps down. Oh, we got contact between the 14 and the 15. Looks like Lee Campbell and Chris Blassie. But both of those drivers were able to hang on to it, and we remain green. Looks like some contact. I'm not sure what happened between those 2 guys. Let's see if I can take a quick look. Maybe what happened.
As Evan Pienta, our second place man, is on pit road, taking his set of tires. Wonder if the floodgates open up now as Aaron Smith is going to take that opportunity too. So, all right, if you're Scott Sobczak, what do you do here? If you're Scott Sobczak, I think that you almost have to come with the pace difference between them. I mean, you would like to put these guys in a bad spot and trap them multiple down, but the pace difference is going to be so huge here. I'm not sure that you can wait around.
Yeah, and this puts, I feel like it puts Scott in a bit of a box here, right? Because if he comes, he's going to take that second set of tires. He'll be on, I guess, his third set of tires at that point. Whereas Aaron and these other guys are going to be only on their second set of tires. So that's a difficult decision to make. But yeah, I agree with you. Give up way too much time probably if he doesn't head to pit road pretty soon here. As you can see, the 45, Austin Greer on fresh tires, presumably kind of blowing by. You see Brady Powers coming on pit road. Like you mentioned, the floodgates have opened with a few guys coming down as we speak. It looks like. I'm trying to look on my... Brady Powers is on pit road.
It's like Lee Campbell.
Sobczak. Yeah, Sobczak remains in first. He's reluctant to give up that lead right now. So
and his pace was really good. His pace was really good up until like the point of the pit stops beginning. So this is not a bad decision at all. He might be thinking, hey, I'm running quick enough here. Oh, as well, he's going to come now.
He's coming.
Yep.
And he hit a cone. Is that going to be an issue?
I don't think so. I think he's going to be okay.
That first cone.
Yeah.
So that cone is probably just to divide pit road from the rest of the track. As the Bristol pit road is a little bit trickier and a little bit more confusing, but he comes to his attention of his crew in the number 1 pit stop. Sobczak looking for a fast one to see if he can get out and regroup and get back into the position that he was earlier right now.
Yeah, we got a notification that Brady Powers might have run into some trouble out here. I'm just going back to take a look at it to see. I don't think anything happened. I think that was just a glitch in the system right here. So everything looks good on Brady Powers' end as Justin Gann is going to inherit the lead out on track here. As Randy Bechtel, I think, is in a battle with several cars here.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a hornet's nest here between Bechtel, Tucker, Scott Sobczak, and Johnny Rapp as they make their way by Rhett Tucker. I'm just looking. Rhett is on 140 lap tires, as is Bechtel.
Yep.
But Scott Sobczak, we know, is on those fresh tires. So he is looking to kind of get through this stuff very quickly as these guys kind of string out single file and that battle settles down just a little bit. And as you mentioned, back up at the front, we've got Justin Gann in that 30 car leading the way with Andrew too far behind. We can see Chris Pierce cutting through to pick up some time. He is a lap down trying to get his lap back. He's actually 2 laps down. He just got his lap back, so he's 1 lap down now. Eric McMillan with a good run going tonight in his first slingshot appearance. He is on 89 lap old tires, so he's kind of in that middle group in terms of he stopped earlier, but he is going to be due. He's probably halfway through a tire run right now, or halfway through a fuel run. So he's going to be a while before he probably needs to come on pit road.
Yeah, I've just put up the previous lap speeds for our leaders, for those that are running in the top 10, and you can just get a sense of how different it is. Almost a second difference between some drivers, over a second difference between some of our drivers, and I'm telling you, a second here around a very, very small track is a huge difference, as Rhett Tucker looks like he is coming off the pit lane, looking to rejoin the action.
He's going to come out right in front of this big old group of cars, but he is going to stay on that apron. Great call by Rhett to keep out of the way. Well, he's coming to pit road. Sorry, I thought he was coming off of pit road.
I wonder if he came to the wrong pit road or if something happened.
That might have been it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That is so easy to do here. If that's what happened, I don't want to speculate without asking him. We'll go back and we'll see. We'll go here and we'll take a look. And it looks like... it's hard to say. I don't have the lap count right here, so yeah, that looks like that's what happened. He went to the wrong pit lane, and we've seen it in real life. We've seen it. I mean, it's just so easy to do here because you get in a rhythm. I mean, everything's happening so fast here, and it's honestly hard to tell the difference between the front stretch and the back stretch at times because you're in a huge coliseum.
Yeah, even me. I have to wait to see that finish line before I can tell you what corner we're in. So it is very confusing, and with everything going on, worrying about tires, fuel, worrying about the guys in front of you and behind you, it's a lot. So easy mistake to make, but Rhett's going to get back on the track. Currently, he is running in 19th. Yeah, caution on the track. We'll see if we can find out what happened.
See if it involved... Yeah, I know it was right in front of the 9 and the 00 here. Go back and see if we can see who it was. Oh, it was Rhett, and he was on. I think he was on those fresh tires, those cold tires.
Just not ready for it.
Yeah, it's a slow spin, and that's like I said. He's probably a little bit frustrated at going down the wrong pit lane there, and just sort of slid out of the corner on those fresh tires, trying to make up as much time as he could, and that's just easy to do. And man, is that going to make things interesting?
Really, yeah, because we've got way different tire strategies up here at the front. We've got Randy Bechtel and Andrew McGonigal, as well as Justin Gain, who are going to be able to come out on pit road and get fresh tires. But it looks like Aaron McMillan, Evan Pienta stay out. And yeah, this is going to shake things up, Chris.
Yeah, Randy Bechtel is sitting in a really good spot. Randy has not... That's his first set of tires that he's taken tonight, I do believe. So
you are 100% correct.
Yeah, that's great for Randy. It says that he pit then. I'm not sure what happened. As he's going to come this time. I don't know if...
Yeah, that was Chase Berry is a lap down, I believe. Unless he got his lap back. It looks like he might have gotten his lap back. He was a lap down a little while ago, but I'm showing he's got his lap back.
Yeah, I think that this deal is going to... I mean, obviously it's going to shake things up, and I still maintain that the guy sitting in the best spot here is Randy. But a lot of guys who were trapped a lap down, or maybe even multiple laps down, are going to make up some ground here. We're probably going to come out of this thing. I think that Rye Jones and Brady Powers are probably going to take the wave around here and get back on the lead lap. So I think that we're probably going to be sitting in a decent spot with about 12 cars on the lead lap, based upon earlier when we only had about 5 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, are you going to have some guys taking a wave around here, you think?
Yeah, I think that the... Obviously, all the guys who are in front of Evan are going to take the wave around. So that would put Chris Pierce. I might have misspoken earlier. I think that you're going to have Chris Pierce, Aaron Smith, Johnny Rapp, and Scott Sobzak. They're going to take the wave around, start back behind everybody else. I think Rye Jones and Brady Powers are probably going to be trapped a lap down, unfortunately for them. But hey, there's still plenty of time to go in this thing, plenty of time to make up a lap. And the guys that have been saving their tires here, they might be sitting in a really good spot.
Yeah, and it looks like the 52, the 1, the 25 are all taking the wave around here as they line up double file with Evan Pienta in the lead. Justin Gann also sitting in a pretty good spot right now. He is only got, I'm looking, he's just one of the cars to pit.
Yeah,
With Andrew McGonigal and McMillan, as well as Randy Bechtel and Barry, all in really good positions right now. If you're Evan, are you a little bit nervous about being on older tires than these guys?
I don't know if I'm nervous, but you got to keep that in mind and probably just pick your battles here.
Yep. Green flag is out. Evan Pienta is going to lead him down to the line. He's clean into turn 1 on his own, but the battle is on for a second between Justin Gann and Andrew McGonigal. Aaron McMillan running nice on the outside of that 18 of Randy Bechtel. We got some contact further back, though. Brady Powers, I believe, cut. I'm trying to find out what car that was. Cut someone a break for sure. Lifting off the throttle when he could have probably turned him around. We got a car down the apron as well.
It's like the 45 of Austin Greer.
Yep, yeah, 45 of Austin Greer.
Austin might have been waiting on the pack to clear him before he decided to go. As Evans jumped out to a pretty good lead right here, considering the difference in tires.
Yeah, and we've got kind of a battle going on here between some lap cars. It looks like Brady Powers, Rye Jones, Monty Sprague, as well as Patrick Colby in that 9 are racing side by side. But other than that, right now, just taking a quick glance around the track, guys are pretty single file. Scott Sobczak makes his way around the number 5 car of Chase Berry. But Justin Gann, don't look now, is keeping pretty close tabs on the 00 of Evan Pienta. Oh, he looks like he might have gotten a wall in that corner. Really bad exit for Justin Gann. That 30, he's going to look to see if he can regroup. McGonigal behind him. Eric McMillan in 4th. Randy Bechtel in 5th. Scott Sobczak and Aaron Smith back together now on the lead lap. Aaron Smith finally probably able to take a breath, feeling like he's in a much better position than he was about 50 laps ago as we cross over onto lap 162 of the Evan Pienta Designs Night Race from Bristol, presented by Slingshot Racing League.
Yeah, and I was trying to keep an eye on that battle for the lucky dog between Brady Powers and Rye Jones, and Brady passed Rye and has cleared him, and right now is sitting in prime position to get that lucky dog. I don't know if it's a tire situation there, or if Rye doesn't want to push very hard, or it's just Brady's got that much speed, but he's gotten that spot as Monty Sprague tags the wall a little bit off of turn 2. No harm, no foul.
Yeah, and don't look now, but I do want to bring everyone's attention back to 17th place, where we see Tony Hilbrun's. Never mind. Sorry, misinformation there. I was thinking Tony was gaining some laps back, but he is still 4 laps down. Look at the wrong tab on my screen. But Tony is, I think he got a lot of his damage repaired. He's still out there, kudos to him, because a lot of guys probably would have packed it in for the night after hitting the wall as hard as he did and having that damage that he did. So Tony's still out there running strong in 17th. We can see up at the front, we've got Evan Pienta, Justin Gann, Andrew McGonigal, Eric McMillan, Randy Bechtel, all running pretty good lap times at this point.
Yeah, they are, and if you're Randy Bechtel, like I said before, I think that you really, really like where you're at. I think that you really like the position that you're in. Aaron Smith is also, I know that Aaron's a little bit further back, but Aaron has also only pit 1 time. So Randy and Aaron are the only 2 guys on the track who have only pit 1 time tonight. Randy's tires are in a little bit better shape than Aaron's. I think that Aaron was kind of in a box where, he felt like he really had to stay out here because of, the way things worked out on that last long run. He's still in good shape, though. He's running good enough lap times here because, Aaron does a really good job of taking care of his tires, just like Randy does, as we got a caution on track.
Caution is out. Let's see if we can find out what happened. not sure who brought out that caution. Trying to look around and see.
Oh, some contact between the 7 and the 92.
Rut-row.
Yeah, it looked like Tony Hilbrun's was on. He passed Rye Jones right here. And this is a situation that was very similar to what Rye ran into earlier with Patrick Colby.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
Roles reversed, though, this time as he sends Tony Hilbrun's into the wall.
Yeah,
right on
it's
board
maybe a product of some of these guys, carrying a little bit less speed off the corner and sliding up in front of the guy behind them, where they're just fractionally isn't quite the room to do that with the run that these cars are getting off the outside. And if it's me, I'm a very conservative driver, probably too conservative, but I'm aware of that speed differential of a car coming off the outside line versus me on the inside. And maybe that's given up too much. But we've seen it happen a couple times tonight, and it's been kind of the same exact story both times. So I guarantee you both of those guys would probably like to have that back. But unfortunately, Tony Hilbrun's is going to come out on the worst side of that tonight. As we see Aaron Smith coming down pit road. That's an interesting call.
Yeah, Aaron's sitting in pretty good spot, though, here with his tires. I think that he's looking at the laps that are left, and he's thinking, I've already changed one set of tires. I don't have that many more laps. He doesn't. I guarantee you, Aaron does not want to sit there and finish this race with a set of tires in the pits and not come out the winner of this thing.
No, I think you're right. With only 75 laps remaining in this race, you even split that in half, and you're at 35 laps. Aaron went over 100 laps on his last run on the tires. So anything's going to be better than that, and I do think that's probably a good call.
Also,
Chris,
Randy Bechtel also came down pit road that time too. So both those guys now on their second set of tires.
Do you think it might be a good opportunity to pull in Evan Pienta to the booth real quick?
Sure, let's go for it.
All right. Ooh, maybe had him for a second. Evan Pienta, this is Ellis in the Slingshot broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I do.
All right, man. You're having a really good run out there tonight. Couple close calls you've been in. Some hornet's nest as the night has gone by. Quickly, before we gear up for the restart, what do you expect to see based on what you've seen so far for the final 75 laps of the race?
Well, the restarts and stuff have been the strategy itself has kind of been thrown on its head a couple times, but I'm on a little bit older tires than everybody else, so it's just about getting that jump and getting out ahead of everybody else and maintaining that smooth line on the inside.
All right, man. Well, we're going to let you get back to it here. Good luck out there, and enjoy the rest of the race.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Space car pulls off. Evan Pienta. Field is in his hands, and he gets a good jump right here on Justin Gann. Going off into turn one. Gann's going to stick to the outside as Andrew McGronigle is going to see if he can wrestle that second spot away from him. As Evan mentioned, there is a little bit of difference between the life of his tires and the guys that are behind him. He's got a little bit older tires, but he's holding strong.
Yeah, I think him getting that jump and having that cushion early on is going to allow him to manage those tires even more, as we see Justin Gann able to hold off Andrew McGronigle. McGronigle gets a little loose off of turn 4 there. Top 5 is single file, but the battle right now is between Scott Sobczak and, don't look now, Chase Berry. After kind of a up and down evening, is in 7th, but he looks like he might have lost a little bit of momentum off that corner. And he is on, I'm looking at his tires, he is on 53 lap old tires, and he's going to be a little bit slower than these guys running behind him, like Chris Pierce and Brady Powers, as well as Rye Jones. So yeah, right now Evan is up in the lead. Aaron Smith, as we focus in that number 1 car, is sitting, like we mentioned, in a really good position tonight, with just kind of at least one set of tires remaining at this point. He is positioned to be able to really have a lot of flexibility on his final pit call strategy.
Yeah, And what we're seeing right here is a race through the field between the 18 and the 1. We're watching Randy Bechtel and Aaron Smith try to charge up through the field. And a lot of times, I won't go as far to say this thing's going green to the end. I mean, it's Bristol.
Oh, we got contact between the leaders, Pienta and Gantz sideways.
They saved it.
On the track, and they hold on to it. Man, that's going to be on the top 10 tomorrow. Wow.
That was insane. We just caught a glimpse of it. They keep it together, but this created quite a logjam. We'll have to go back. We got to watch this again.
Oh, yeah, and while you're pulling up that replay, where it stands right now, Andrew McGonigal takes over the lead. Pienta in second, McMillan in third, and the replay we can see right now. Man, look at this.
Yeah, it just looked like they were fighting over the same space. 30 and 00 get together, drift through the corner, and collect it right in front of all these guys. As Andrew McGonigal is going to get away with the lead.
Oh, we got another wreck. Pienta and Bechtel going to take several cars with him on the front stretch right at the start
Randy's upside down.
Oh, man. Hard crash. Looks like Chris Pierce is involved in that. This is going to take out several guys. I don't know if Scott Sobczak in the 81 got damage or not. Looks like Randy is not happy as he runs into the wall here. Oh, man. We'll see if we can take a look at what happened on this lap 187 crash involved several leaders.
Yeah, we were 3 wide off of turn 4 right there. Looks like the 99 ran in the back of the 25. Nobody doing it intentionally. It's just, a stack-up effect as Randy Bechtel goes for a heck of a ride.
Man, and he wasn't even moving at that point.
Yeah, he wasn't, and, we're coming down to the end of the race. We're 3 wide off the corner. Guys who are on different lap tires. Randy probably knows that he's, he'd like to get up there with, he needs to keep pace with Aaron. Aaron's on the same strategy that he's on, really. And as they come off the corner here, it just doesn't quite work out. It's really hard to do that. It's hard enough to run 2 wide here. And when you add another car into the mix, running 3 wide is just really, really difficult as several cars get involved.
Yeah, but several cars also just really skirt by that 52 and the 81 of Rapp and Sobczak, really inches from disaster there. As we see several cars coming onto pit road, starting back in, 5th or 6th car back, but a lot of our leaders are staying out. McGonigal is going to stay out. McMillan is going to stay out. Smith is going to stay out, it looks like. Johnny Rapp is going to stay out. Brady Powers might have been one of the first cars to come in, if I'm looking at the telemetry correctly here. Powers is on pit road, but yeah, so this sets up right now a 60-lap dash to the end. And we say dash because these laps do go by quickly. 15-second laps, that's about 4 laps a minute. So if this thing were miraculously to go green, we're looking at about, 15 minutes left of, green flag action. Now, one thing I do want to ask those folks watching right now in the chat, if you are watching, first of all, we appreciate you. But we are curious, do you think this is going to be the last caution, or do you think we have more? So if you are watching in the chat, go ahead and just type a simple, yes, it's going to be the last caution, or no, there will be more. Let us know what you think right now in that chat.
Yeah, and as we come to this restart right here, interesting to note, I believe that might have been, and I could be wrong because it's very, very difficult to keep up with the varying strategies, but I do believe, and if you add an extra set of tires into the equation, it kind of makes it even more difficult. But I think that's Evan Pienta and Scott Sobczak's last set of tires for this race that they just took.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I know particularly with Scott, he came in really early and took tires and kind of, made his pit strategy bed early, so to speak. If we're looking at tires right now as the leaders double up for the restart, Andrew McGonigal is on 40-lap old tires. Looks like Eric McMillan is about the same. Johnny Rapp also on the same. The first car on new tires or newish tires is going to be Evan Pienta. as the leaders roll down the backstretch. So Evan, even with that slide, which maybe took a little bit of life off those tires, is going to be interesting to watch how quickly he moves up through the field along with Scott Sobczak. But both of those guys, like you mentioned, are on those old tire, their final set of tires. So this is it for those guys.
Yeah, and Johnny Rapp's tires are actually quite a bit older than everybody else's up here. So let's see how he fares with these guys as we get the green flag.
Yep, McGonigal stays in the lead. Newcomer Eric McMillan is a second, but we might have a 3-wide situation as Aaron Smith looks to duck under him, and he's going to easily roll into second place. McMillan might try to hang with him for a corner or so, but Smith on those 41-lap old tires is easily right now into second place. Evan Pienta not too far behind, looking underneath the wrap, and McMillan with Scott Sobczak in tow. If you're Aaron Smith, how hard are you going for the lead right now with only about 55 laps to go in this race, Chris?
Well, if I'm Aaron Smith, I want to clear the 94 because I got about 20 lap fresher tires than him. I want to get around him. I know that it's going to be difficult to hold off these guys, the 00 and the 81, because they've got fresher tires than me, but they're not that much fresher. And if Aaron has been doing a really good job on this set, which, he typically does at saving his tires, then he might be in decent shape here. That might wind up being pretty close. I have to bet that if Evan is hounding him pretty hard, he's not going to fight super hard. He's not going to make it easy for him, though, as he turns down in front of him. I mean, this could be the battle for the win.
This very well could be the battle. And Andrew McGonigal is not an easy car to pass. He's proven that all night. So he's going to retain that outside position, and he is just pulling that momentum off the corner every time. But Aaron Smith is continuing, you can see here, to chip away on that inside line. But every he chips, nearly gets chipped right back off as McGonigal keeps that momentum. Your top four right now, McGonigal, Smith, Pienta, and Sobczak. This is very well potentially a battle for the win with 50 laps to go. And remind you, this is a crown jewel race tonight. So not only is bragging rights and points on the line, but $25 cash prize as well. These guys are going to be after that money. With 50 laps to go at Bristol Slingshot Racing, the battle for the lead is tightening up. Evan Pienta underneath that one car of Aaron Smith for the lead. But they both sit behind the 94 of Andrew McGonigal, who is just a roadblock, a very fast roadblock, though, if you're looking at it from the perspective of those guys.
Yeah, and this is a race through the field as well, in a way. Scott Sobczak has kept up with Evan Pienta. As the 94 gets loose.
Almost. We almost have a big crash there between the leaders. Wow, McGonigal and Evan Pienta do a great job of both holding on to it, but it is going to allow Rhett Tucker to also slip back into that battle for the lead. But he's not in the lead. He's several laps down in third place, but he wants a piece of that action as he slips in right behind his teammate Andrew McGonigal.
Yeah, and Andrew right now has got to be very careful, because I'm telling you, here at this track, running the high side, and if you get that loose running the high side here,
oh yeah,
it kills that right front. It makes that right front really, really angry, and so he has got to be careful here these next few laps. Don't want to loop it and take yourself out of contention for the win. Just try to take it easy here for a few laps and cool those jets just a little bit.
Yeah, and the battle for second place is really hot right now between Sobczak and Aaron Smith. And we talked about tire strategy. Aaron's got about 15 lap older tires than Scott, but Aaron's also got a set left, which Scott does not. And if we do have a caution late in this race, that is going to make a huge difference. If you're Scott Sobczak, are you hoping for this thing to finish under the green flag?
100%. 100%. I think that Scott's got really good long run pace, it seems. I think that's what he's hoping for, especially because, I mean, he's made his bet. He's got to lay in it now. If looking at the numbers that we have, if they are accurate, and if he has taken tires on every single pit stop, then yes, Scott Sobczak is out of tires for the race, and Evan Pienta as well. So, I think that he's obviously hoping it goes green to the end, along with Evan Pienta, our current race leader.
Yeah, so right now, Pienta is in the lead, like you mentioned, Chris. Scott Sobczak in second, quickly closing, but on his final set of tires, Aaron Smith in third. Brady Powers with a really good run going tonight. He's been up in that top five most of the night. He is sitting in fourth place after starting fifth. Chase Berry has climbed his way all the way up to 5th from starting back near the tail end of the pack early in this race. Chris Pierce is recovering nicely as he battles side by side right now with Andrew McGonigal for the 6th position. And Rye Jones has also slipped up there fighting for the 7th position, try to take that away from McGonigal. He's been involved in a couple incidents tonight, but really great job on Rye Jones' part to recover to the 7th position right now. Eric McMillan having a really good night, newcomer to Slingshot.
We got a caution.
Yeah, I was about to say, I heard some.
Evan Pienta, our leader. Our leader. Oh, no, no.
There's a lot of damage on that car.
Yeah, let's see if we can go back and...
the 30. Him and the 30 got together.
Oh, man, those guys they've been like magnets tonight.
I'm not convinced, Chris, that was not intentional, unfortunately. I'm going to try not to jump to conclusions here, but I'm looking at the replay, and it looks like that 30...
Yeah, you hate to see that. If that is the case, obviously we're not in, any type of voice chat. We'll go back here and we'll see if we can get a little bit better look. You don't want to see that. We'll see if we can ride on board here with the 30 of Justin Gann. He was going a lap down here. Evan is coming up on his inside. Evan is the race leader and just didn't give him any room. Came down on his door.
Yeah, and I do think, at first I thought that looked maybe like a hook, but I think that is the 30 just not giving any room to Evan. Evan moving up the track a little bit, and the 30 not really moving him at all, and almost maybe coming to the left a little bit, unfortunately. So you really hate to see that. I'm not sure what... Yeah, I don't even want to speculate on that right now. But at the front, that is going to put Scott Sobczak in a really good position. But here's the problem. He doesn't have any tires left. And if I'm looking correctly, Aaron Smith now, my friend, is going to be on fresh tires in the fifth position. It's going to be him, Chase Berry on fresh tires, McGonigal on fresh tires, McMillan on fresh tires, Pienta, who's really got some problems right now, I believe, if that damage is not repairable. They're going to be on fresh tires. Johnny Rapp also on fresh tires on the lead lap. Last car in the lead lap, it looks like at this point. So, man, if you're Scott Sobczak, Powers, Pierce, and Jones, that is not what you wanted to see. Sure, there's only about 25 laps difference on those tires, but that's a pretty big difference this late in the game.
It is, and it's going to be tough. Scott's really good, and he's been very impressive all night. I think the best thing that Scott can hope for is for this thing to go green to the end. There's a lot of traffic that these guys have to fight through. Obviously, Aaron Smith has got less traffic to get through than some of these other guys on fresh tires. I think that what Scott's hoping for is that get a good jump here on this restart. I think it's going to be tough to win this thing if you're Scott. But I think you're probably thinking top 5 now. Unfortunately, that's saving that last set of tires for the very end. It's tough to do. It's so tough. It's so tempting to come earlier. But we see it pay off time and time again as, a lot of guys have made it work for them tonight.
Yeah. And one of those guys is Aaron Smith and Chase Berry. They're going to be starting in 5th and 6th respectively as the pace car gets ready to pull off. And we're going to be watching these first 4 cars on older tires, how they compare, how easy are they to pass if they put up a fight. As pace car pulls off, Scott Sobczak is your leader. He gets a nice jump. Brady Powers does not get the restart he probably would have liked, which is going to allow Rye Jones to gain a bit of an advantage on the outside as they come out of turn 2. Rye Jones is going to pull up even with that 22 of Brady Powers. Evan Pienta is going to be interesting to see if he gets around that 30 car again, what happens. But right now, looking at the 22 up front, he is losing position after position, now giving his position away to Chase Berry and Aaron Smith. And Chase Berry on those fresh tires, he is the first car on those fresh tires. So it's probably him right now and Aaron Smith right behind them that are the battle for the win. With only 30 laps remaining in this race, folks. If you are joining us, this has been an up and down night, multiple crashes, multiple tire strategies, but we are in the closing stages of this as Chase Berry now moves into second place around his teammate Rye Jones, and Rye Jones is best friend at this point. Looks like he wanted to hold up that one, but he's going to let him by. And they are both chasing down Scott Sobczak, who is in the lead in that number 81 Square D car. Now with only 28 laps left, Scott Sobczak is trying to hold on for the win to get his first win after winning all 4 poles this season. Can he finally close the deal? As we mentioned earlier, it is going to be a tough task. Brady Powers a little bit loose with Chris Pierce passing him, as well as Andrew McGonigal, but he holds on to it for the time being.
Yeah, and Chase Berry has gotten through the traffic better than anybody else. He's gotten through it quicker than Aaron Smith. He is currently, he's first in, I guess you can call it first in class out of these guys on these tires now. And, you know, he's got some time here. He doesn't have to just run up there and charge up there. As long as he can keep Aaron Smith at bay and keep Scott Sobczak pretty close, he can wait a little bit. But I don't know if you want to wait too long. I'd like to be in control of the race.
Yeah, there is going to be a battle going on for a second here, real fast, that could get pretty aggressive if Aaron Smith wants to make it that way, as both of these guys chase down that 81. Looking through the rest of the field, we've got some side-by-side racing going on with the number 94 of Andrew McGonigal getting by. Actually, that's sorry, that might be the 99 getting by Brady Powers, who's struggling a little bit after starting pretty close up towards the front. Brady Powers is down to 8th, but still a good run going for him. And now action at the front is heating up. 3 cars, you couldn't throw a blanket on them and cover them. Chase Berry going to go for the lead here on lap 228. 23 laps left. Scott Sobczak is going to fight to hang on to this position. Those slightly older tires, he is not going to give an inch. He's going to force that 5 car to run that inside line, and not going to want to have that 5 car have any momentum.
As Chase, yeah, that's the thing about making a pass here. If you can't complete it, you open yourself up, and Chase could not complete the pass, and Aaron Smith gets by him.
So that could be a deciding factor here. If this race goes the rest of the way green, Chase Berry's attempt to pass the 81 went wrong, so to speak. But the 81 is hanging on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Can Chase take advantage of Aaron maybe not being able to complete the pass?
On lap traffic as well. Evan Pienta going to have a say in this, I'd imagine. They're going to use him as a pick. So that's going to help Sobczak a little bit, gain about half a car length into 1. They're going to be coming up on the 30 as well here that they're going to have to navigate, and that is going to, he's going to run the outside, which is really going to give Sobczak a hard time. He's going to use him as a pick. That's going to help Smith. Barry's going to get back by, but Chris, look who is in 5th place right now. Johnny Rapp, also on fresh tires. He's got the freshest tires of any of these guys by 2 laps. So Johnny Rapp, after coming off of 2 Truck Series wins, do not count this guy out.
Yeah, and you know, Justin, I mean, I know somebody might say something about Justin being in the way there on that, but it's just hard to get out of the way here. There's not a lot of room.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of room to escape. You know, that's just, you know, one of the things about running on a track this small, as McGonigal and Rapp now try to race around this 81 and try not to let the leaders get too far out in front.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're Johnny Rapp, you're starting to get impatient with these guys, I'd imagine. Because we've seen him have a lot of speed, but if you're Scott Sobczak, you're doing what you got to do to maintain that top 5, as we talked about earlier. That different tire strategy, there's only so much he's going to be able to get out of it. Now here comes the field on the 92 of Tony Hilbrens, who's had a couple incidents, and I'm just trying to remember if any of these guys are guys that 92 has had a run-in with tonight.
I think the 7. I think the 7, but he's a little bit further back. I don't think that's going to be a concern here. Hopefully these guys will not cause an unnecessary caution this close to the end of the race. I don't think that we'll have that. I think everybody will keep their emotions in check.
Yeah. We are drawing up on 13 laps left in this Evan Pienta Designs Bristol night race from Slingshot Racing League and the Apex Energy Cup Series. $25 on the line for the winner tonight, as well as points and bragging rights. And Chase Berry is not letting Aaron Smith get away. Chase Berry kind of staying the same size in that mirror.
Yeah, he's trying a few different things. I've seen him run a few different lines the last couple laps. he ran a little bit higher the lap before. He's back on the bottom here. He's not letting Aaron get away. He's trying to maintain that distance right there.
They are running identical lap times.
Yeah, anything can happen when you're this close together.
Once again, Aaron Smith just about a half a tenth faster that time by, but Chase Berry drawing even closer. That time he had the faster lap. This is going to be close, guys. With 10 laps to go, the battle is on for the win between Aaron Smith and Chase Berry. And if you're Andrew McGonigal back in third, you are loving what you're seeing right now. Let these guys go at it. Let these guys wreck each other, and I'll come through and I'll take the win.
Yeah, and right now we've talked about saving tires all night. There ain't nobody out here saving tires now. They're all letting it hang out.
They are going as hard as they can. You can see that right now. Aaron Smith is willing to give up that inside line. What do you make of that call?
I take that as in he's willing to try to be defensive at this point. He didn't do it that time. I think that he might be sensing the 5 getting a little bit closer, and he possibly doesn't want to get run over. Not that Chase would do that on purpose, but getting down to it at the end and you run as tight as you do here, he might just be opening it up to try to get a little bit better launch up off the corner. That's a little bit more of a defensive line there.
As both of these cars come up on Justin Gann, and that 30 car last week's winner is going to get out of the way. Good call by Justin. He gets to the apron, and the gaps remain the same. We're just 5 laps left in this race from Bristol. Chase Berry chasing down the 1, and right now they're both coming up on the 00 of Evan Pienta. He's also going to get out of the way. These guys are doing a great job of kind of letting raced out, but don't look too soon, Chris. Andrew McGonigal is drawn up close to the back of the 5 car, so we might have a battle for second before we know it, with just 3 laps left from Bristol. Look at Chase Berry. He's going to drive in as hard as he can and see what he can maintain off the corner coming into turn 3. We're just 2.5 laps away from the finish. Look at the momentum he's going to get as he runs off the high line here. He's going to be very close. I guarantee he's going to want to, look, he's going to come up to the high line. Aaron Smith takes the middle.
Oh, Chase has got some good momentum here. What's he going to do? He's going to go low.
They are coming to the white flag, folks, so 1 lap remains in this race. Can Chase Berry do anything with this 1 car? He's going to see if he can run that high line, get a little momentum, and we might have a bump and run coming here. Let's watch out for it. He's going to go to the bottom. Is he going to run Aaron Smith up to the wall? No, he races him clean. Aaron Smith is going to come across the line of that 1 car to claim the victory. In the first crown jewel race of the season, it's going to be Aaron Smith's 2nd win of the season after a really masterful tire strategy in which we saw Aaron Smith driving on 150-lap old tires. And there was a point in the race where we thought Smith was going to be out of it, but he was not. Chase Berry almost got the job done in 2nd. Andrew McGonigal finishes in 3rd. Johnny Rapp brings home a great 4th place finish, and Scott Sobczak hangs on for a top 5. Wow, what a finish. And that is a testament to how clean our drivers are in this series. Chase could have taken Aaron Smith out very easily, but he didn't. He raced him like a gentleman. And for that, kudos to Chase Berry. We are going to cut away for a second. We'll get these drivers in the booth to hear about what carried them to their top 3 finishes. How do we get these one-of-a-kind amazing trophies? Well, we were fortunate to find UD Awards when we started our league. We reached out and we connected with Christopher, and we got started designing these one-of-a-kind works of art. The process was easy from start to finish. After just a few revisions, we finalized each one of them, and the team at UD got to work building each trophy from scratch. They're a small team, but they've got the ability to do just about anything your brain can imagine. And don't worry, if you're not an artist, they've got an entire catalog of unique trophies in pretty much any material you can imagine. Wood, acrylic, glass, and in the case of last season's trophy, metal. The best part, they're affordable. If you're looking for a trophy for your event or league, the choice is simple. UD Awards can give you exactly what you want. Are you looking for high quality, affordable sim racing paint schemes and graphics? Then look no further than Evan at Evan Pienta Designs. Driven by speed, Evan Pienta Designs offers a multitude of sim racing graphics from liveries to social media graphics to team and series logos. To see some of the work done by Evan, or even race one of the public liveries he's made, head on over to tradingpaints.com and search Evan Pienta. All right. If you are still watching, we are live back at Bristol after an amazing finish. We are joined in the booth right now by our third place finisher, Andrew McGronigal, in that number 94 car. Andrew, it was an up and down kind of night for you. I think we saw you in all sorts of different positions, forward, reverse, maybe in the wall, it felt like a couple times. Walk us through kind of how your night went and what you felt like was the difference maker in getting you up to third at the end.
Yeah, we put a lot of work in running the ARCA cars the past couple of years, and we figured out, saving tires is really easy, running the top without any brake. And I just got ran over around, I don't know, right around lap 50, so had to go to the rear and took tires, and that long green flag run, me and the 30, I think, were about 12 seconds behind the leaders and chopped that down to 4. So thought we had a really good car and was good at saving tires, and hated to see those cautions there at the end, but it is what it is.
Hey man, good job bringing it home in one piece tonight in third place. Andrew McGronigal, have a good evening. Great job out there.
All right, thank you.
All right, so we'll bring in Chase Berry, our second place finisher tonight, to the broadcast booth. And Chris, I believe you will handle this one. Move him in.
Oh shit, I got an extra set now. Seeing you pull like,
You
God!
are live, Chase Berry.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was just trying to race him clean at the end. Like, I mean, every time I've been around him, like we raced last year at Richmond, uh, even the road courses stuff. Like when I do actually able to, keep in touch with him. Like, he's always racing me clean. So I didn't want to send him through the wall or nothing like that. So I tried to, try to race him pretty clean. I felt like I did, but yeah, no, that was wild. I mean, the second place definitely wasn't expecting that by any means. Yes. Because honestly, and I couldn't figure it out. This car has been the death of me. I just can't figure this car out, how to drive it. So like I'm struggling. And even here, this is one of my favorite tracks. Like and just fits, but it's just I couldn't figure it out. So even like on the beginning part of the race, like that was it. Like that's all the pace I had, and like that was it. Like I was trying so hard to like keep up, but I just could not keep up with the pack at all. And then I don't know, like either something I got rhythm down and I figured it out, but about 3/4 of the way through. But yeah, that was me trying to run for that for it. Me about to get lapped down all those times.
Well, man, you put on a great show at the end. You raced really hard and really clean for the win, and we love to see that. Any shout-outs that you want to give before you get up out of here?
Oh yeah. Shout out the girlfriend for not making a bunch of noise and she just joined in. You guys for putting it on. Aaron for always racing me clean, so I figure I'd give it in return. Randy, Johnny, Ryan, whoever else is in the chat, I don't freaking know. And you guys put it on. I mean, it's been fun-ish so far. When I run good, it's fun.
That's what they all say.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, we appreciate you being out here tonight, and we appreciate you racing clean and being a good sport, man. Take it easy. You have a great night, man. Congratulations.
All right, thank you guys. You too.
All right, that was Chase Berry, our second place finisher tonight. We are going to move Aaron Smith, our winner, in here in just a second. We'll check in with him and see what how he's feeling after that. I would say come from behind victory, at least early on in the race. Aaron Smith, this is Ellis and Chris in the Slingshot broadcast booth. You got a copy on us?
Yeah, I've got you.
Well, you could have had us fooled early in the race. 150 lap tires, you're slipping back. You were one lap down at a point. Man, how'd you turn it around? How did you hang on to that extra set of tires? How bad was it towards the end of that 150 lap run on those tires?
Yeah, I wasn't feeling too good. I was under the impression that we would have a wreck around maybe the lap 75 mark in that run, but unfortunately it never came. It took a little while to get there, but fortunately I was able to put myself in a good spot. I got a good entry into the pits and a good exit, and I was able to gain enough time to only be one lap down there, and got back on the lead lap and made it work.
How nervous were you those final couple laps, particularly coming off that final corner or into the final corner that Chase Berry was gonna kind of pull a bump and run or door you?
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I saw him flying around on the outside, and I figured that I'd be in a much better spot if I moved up the track a little bit, give him that like space on the bottom, but also give myself the run out of the corner. And another extra couple laps, and he would have gotten me. But fortunately, the race ended just in time.
Absolutely. Well, you are our first two-time winner this season. You are $25 richer with that crown jewel victory. Anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight before we let you go celebrate?
Yeah, as always, I'd like to thank the folks at the Slingshot Racing League putting the show on, y'all for broadcasting, and all the folks for watching. Looking forward to getting back at it wherever we are next week.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll see you on the track next week. Have a good evening and go and celebrate.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. So you heard our top three finishers there from the Evan Pienta night race from Bristol. And these Apex Energy Cup drivers put on a show, Chris. I think this race pretty much delivered everything we expected and more. We got, I think, maybe even a little more tire strategy than I think you or I would have expected at the beginning. And we got a race that really came down to the final lap. And we also got, did we see some tempers tonight? I think we might have seen some tempers tonight based on some messages I got in my Discord while the race was going on. So
Yep.
does this carry on to next week? Do you think we see drivers going after each other next week? I will say it's going to be if we timed our off break, perfectly, this is how we would do it, because next week is an off week. We're giving drivers Valentine's Day off, so maybe they'll have some time to cool down. But do you think anything carries over to the following week?
It'll be interesting to see if anybody uses the Valentine's week off to get any cards. Try to make up, with some people. Try to, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think that there's a few people that are a little bit upset with each other, and I can understand why. As somebody, a wise man once said, there's a little bit more to the story possibly than what we know too. We only catch certain parts of it. These guys are around each other on the track for 250 laps tonight, so it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward into next week, and feel bad for some guys, and but Aaron Smith and Chase Berry, Andrew McGonigal, those guys that we talked to on the podium tonight, they made it work in their favor, and they regardless of if anything was intentional tonight or people with hurt feelings, it was a great show.
It really was. It gave us everything we wanted and probably more. And like we mentioned, we are going to be off next week in the Cup Series on Tuesdays, but we will be back tomorrow night with a Truck Series race from New Hampshire. And we'll also be racing next week in the Truck Series. We'll be running at IRP next Wednesday on the 15th, another short track. So a lot of these guys also race in that series. So maybe there's going to be an opportunity for some of them to get a little bit of payback on each other in a different series. We'll see. Fingers crossed that it won't happen, but you never know. And as a reminder, we're looking at the Crown Jewel races. Tonight was the first of 4. Charlotte, the next race back, there will also be $25 on the line for the winner. So hopefully we have as big a field that week as we did this week, and these drivers are going to be getting back after it. And maybe that $25 is making these races a little bit more exciting as it amps up some of that tension, maybe even a little bit of aggression. So Hey, we thank you for joining us in the broadcast tonight. For all the folks who participated in the chat, we are grateful. Continue to watch, continue to follow, and everyone have a good night. We will see you tomorrow night for the Truck Series race.